Yo, what's up? Hey, Sunflower, how are you? Kevin, Galaxies, Migoreng, Hendra Motsu. How are you doing, MJ23? Yeah, doing well. How about you guys? What's up, Christian Luna? 1-800 tank this? Did you change your phone number to be 1-800 tank this for your tanking and GoGoMuffin? Hey, Mimi, hi 173. How are you guys? New mount is sick? Yeah, I love it. I really love it. Hey, Kuinchi. Hey, Vsol. How's the stream looking, guys? With the portrait layout, is it nice and clear for you guys? Decided to try this format out for streaming from now. All clear. Great. Glad to hear it. Migorang says, between attack speed versus mastery, which should we prioritize first, or is there a certain target value? For sword slash? Do you mean shadow slash? Can you clarify which class do you mean, Migorang? Kozan, is it possible to add Turkish subtitles? I'm not sure what's involved in adding subtitles, but I'll make a note to look into it, Kozan. I'm just not sure how to go about doing that, but I'll see what's possible. For Shadow Slash, okay. For Shadow Slash, you would want to get. I don't know if there's exactly a super fixed. You're talking about the base class, right? Just to clarify, Migorang, you're not talking about Nightweaver. You're talking about the base class Shadow Lash, right? Hey Perk, first time catching you live. Videos helped a lot. You started in server 37 a few seconds. Hey, appreciate that, Perk. Glad you're playing the game too. Sunflower asks, do we need mastery for sorcerer? Yes, every class benefits from mastery, though if you're a pure tank, obviously you would benefit a bit less so. Okay, thanks for clarifying me, Goreng. Yeah, so there are targets, yes. So for class change 2, you're going to want to compare the attack speed relative to your where is it? Your cooldown reduction here. And I don't have the chart handy, but there is a relationship between how much cooldown reduction you have and how much attack speed you need in order to reach the optimal stacks of Blazing Shadow debuff. If you check out my Nightweaver video, you will see I have a chart. I have a chart that explains the relationship and what attack speed target you should be aiming for. Generally speaking, it's around 154% for 11 stacks and 174% for 12 stacks. Mastery, I would say if you can keep ideally above 40%, and the more you get the better, as long as you don't sacrifice your attack speed below those margins to achieve that. I hope that helps, but definitely check the video out. Reaganleaf asks, do I have any idea what the next gacha costume is? I'm actually not sure. I'm always surprised, just as surprised as everyone else is, to see whatever the next costume is going to be. So, why is my accuracy only 98%? My accuracy is only 98% because of... Sorry, one second. Because of this right here. Every 40 levels or so, well, I guess not exactly every 40 levels, but there are level thresholds that reduce the efficiency of which you convert numerical stats into percentage. So my accuracy dropped at level 80. Level 80 class change 2 from 104 to 98 without any stat changes. While you guys vote on that, yeah, where we check the poll in the chat, we want to do Q&A based on what you guys want the most, so I think that's the best way. I'm going to do some dailies in the meantime. Wesley asks, is trying Turning Point worth losing stats that might prevent your demise happening anyway? Yes, Wesley. So Turning Point, generally speaking, there will be some trials where it's in the DPS's benefit to run Turning Point to avoid a very high damage situation. But more often than not, it'll be the tank and healer running Turning Point, and the DPS are just going to go without it. But there are some instances where it would be worthwhile. It would in fact be worthwhile to run Turning Point as a DPS too, and take the DPS loss in order to survive a dangerous situation. Yes. Zakila asks, do I have a stream schedule? No, not exactly, Zakila. At least not at the time. Not at the moment. Generally speaking, I'll stream 1 to 2 times a week, maybe a little more than that if there's a special occasion. But that's generally the approach. Yeah, accuracy dropped 6% at level 80, unfortunately. Orkan says, I'm stuck at 30k attack stat, how can I increase? To be honest, Orkan, attack is one of those stats that you will level up relatively naturally as you progress. Ideally speaking, unless you're a healer, you shouldn't really need to chase attack rolls on your recasting. But as you enhance here, as you get more mounts and cat buns and artifacts, as you get higher level gear, these are all things that are going to increase your attack. Equipping higher level rings without breaking the set you need, these are all things that will increase your attack. So if you're a healer, you might actually justify rolling attack on a lot of things, but generally speaking, you're going to pick up attack as you progress through the game without having to specifically go out of your way to chase it extra hard. Let's do some dailies here. I just want to check, is my audio very low or is it okay for you guys? I just want to make sure, since it's been acting up. Is it okay? Some saying it's low. Okay. Just continue on. Okay, we'll continue on. Okay, well if it's low for you, just turn it up. I'm not gonna blast you with any weird sounds. Robert says another thing to remember for accuracy is the pink cat bun skill adds a minimum 2.5%. Yes, that's correct. So we've just had the Q&A poll up, and the #1 requested topic is cat buns. So I think this might be a good chance to actually transition into taking a look at cat buns together. And if you have any questions about the cat buns system, now is a good time to ask. So, and as Robert Van Ness did say, and this is probably more pertinent now since we've just hit level 80, when you are changing around your stats in order to offset the lost accuracy, don't forget that the SP kitty coin here is going to give you a minimum of 2.5% accuracy, and when you get it high enough, it'll double that and give you 5% accuracy. But as a minimum, you should calculate in this 2.5% if you have the pink cheese cat with SP kitty coin. Wesley asks, what's the best cat buns for healers? So the best cat bun for healer is actually going to be the waffle cheese cat. As you can see here, the SP long lasting mark. The SP long lasting mark is the best cat bun for healers because it has a large attack increase here. The rest of the effects here are not as important as this main attack because this is non-conditional. This is non-conditional attack in the sense that it doesn't require you to do anything to get this attack. It is flat permanent attack. Because of this being the best for healers, in the early game or somewhat early game of the cat bun system, I had said DPS needs to wait until level 9 bakery to start fusing generation 3 cat buns, but because the healer's best is the long-lasting mark, they could start all the way from level 8. So if you're a healer and you're still ranking up your cat bun system, you can start fusing your generation 3s from level 8 because that's when you can get the waffle cheese bun. You don't have to wait until 9 like DPS do. Chris says, when should I evaluate my cat bun? Do I just evaluate all my non-recommended buns? I don't think there's necessarily a super rigid understanding of when it's best to evaluate cat buns. As long as you're confident that the cat buns you're using to evaluate will not have any use for you in this class change or the next class change, then you can pretty much use anything that's not going to benefit your main team. So do keep in mind you can transfer evaluates. So if you get a better flavor cat bun, you can transfer the evaluate to that new cat bun. But yes, in general, Chris, it's pretty safe if you're for sure confident that the cat bun you're using to evaluate isn't better than the one you have equipped, then you can go ahead and use it. As you can see here, I have 4 purple, 1 gold, and 3 blue here. So I have been using plenty of cat buns for evaluating. Deki, I don't have a Google Sheets cat bun guide, but if you check my YouTube channel, there are several cat bun related guides that have quite a lot of information. There's a playlist. You can check the playlists on my channel. There is a cat buns playlist that has all the information you might need. After Nightweaver class change, am I going to need different flavors because class change 3 is thunder, not fire? That's correct, and it's a good thing you mentioned this. I want to show this again to people who are not 100% clear on this. When you are analyzing what cat buns are best for you, when you look at the fuses that you have, you're not just looking at your current class. You're going to go into your class change quest icon here, and you're going to take a look what element your next class change is going to be. And in my case, it's going to be thunder. Because I know it's going to be thunder, if I'm looking at my cat buns and I see, oh, I actually have a cat bun that gives... Let me see where the thunder one is. Fire, ice, thunder. So if I have a cat bun that gives benevolent and meowy, if I have a benevolent and meowy cat bun, even though I'm not using that as a Nightweaver, I would save that because I will use that for my next class change. And because of how rare it is to get the best in slot cat buns, you would really be hurting yourself if you don't save cat buns that are going to be good for your next class change as well. And that doesn't matter if you're a free-to-play, if you're a light spender, if you're a whale, it doesn't matter. It's the same RNG we all have to face. It's 0.4% chance to get a best in slot flavors cat bun. So you don't want to waste a perfect roll for your next class change by throwing it away by mistake. So always check that. Mimi, let me know if you have any further questions because I think I answered that when I just spoke about evaluating. Tank looks like fire, then you should be holding on to fire. Sorry you're late, but what cat bun is best for DPS? No worries. The cat bun for DPS is going to be the pink cheese cat here, which gives the SP kitty coin. And it's important to understand exactly why this is best, because people will look at this and say, oh, that looks pretty good. But why is it pretty good? And let me show you why this is the best for DPS. Because at its base, triggers every 10 seconds. There's a 50% chance to increase your accuracy rate by 2.5% and all damage by 7%. Or a 50% chance to double the stats increase. So what this means is there's a 50% chance you'll get 2.5% accuracy and 7% damage, and a 50% chance you'll get 5% accuracy and 14% damage. And this happens every 10 seconds. So this is a permanent buff in combat. Now what makes this interesting is as you evaluate this cat bun, you get to the 4 purple stars here, which increases your chance of doubling the stats by 25% per 2 SP cat buns. So if you have 4 UR cat buns here, this effectively means you're going to have a 100% chance to get the doubled stats every time. Plus, if you look at the max orange here, you're going to have an additional 0.5% accuracy and an additional 13% damage. Rather, it increases to 30% damage. So you're going to have 6% accuracy and 26% damage when it's doubled. That's insane. And in order to get this pink cheese cat, you have to remember, you need to wait until you have bakery level 9 as a DPS. If you're a DPS and you don't wait until bakery level 9, you will not get your best in slot UR cat buns, because you have to wait to add them to the pool here. Once they are added to the pool, you have a chance to fuse them, and before that, you'll never get them. So it's very important you don't accidentally blow all your Gen 3 cat buns fusing when you don't even have your best in slot unlocked. So hopefully that helps. What is Blessing of the Cat Bun God? Is it only coming from the level 5s? Let's take a look at that. So there are a couple things here. So, for example, the tail here, you can see you gain 1 stack of the Blessing whenever you enter combat. And depending on which trait you have, it gives different effects. But there's 1 stack here from tail. Shell here is gaining an additional stack of Blessing after 30 seconds into the battle. So this is 2 stacks. So 1 stack when you start the battle, now 1 stack after 30 seconds. And I believe that's the only sources, unless they add more sources in the future, it will be these 2 sources. 1 at the start of battle and 1 30 seconds into the battle. Those are the 2 sources of that blessing. So I have to wait until level 9 to combine. If you are a DPS, you have to wait until level 9 Bakery to combine so that you can have a chance to fuse your best in slot cat bun. That is correct. Are SSR cat buns with all the same flavors superior compared to UR cat buns with random flavors? No. No, they're not. So the correct approach when it comes to cat buns is actually going to be prioritizing getting to UR first. Because the additional stats you get from getting to UR are significant enough that it is more important to have a full team of URs than it is to have SSRs with perfect flavors. Now, there will be some cases perhaps in the early progression of Catbun where you would justifiably run an SSR instead of a UR, but that's not a long-term solution. That's simply in the meantime until you get something better. So realistically, no, but in some early game Catbun situations, yes. How about for tanks? So tanks are actually in an interesting situation because unfortunately there is only one really good Catbun when it comes to tanking, and that's going to be not a UR, unfortunately. It's going to be an SSR, and that is this layered cheese bun which gives broken meow clock. So once per battle, if you either take lethal damage or a single damage hit exceeds 50% of max HP, you gain a shield of 100% of your max HP for 2.5 seconds. That's pretty significant because what this lethal damage here won't stack with Turning Point, but this second condition here will activate on its own, which is if you get hit by a boss and it takes more than 50% of your HP in one hit, you get a 2.5 second shield. And that shield could be extremely useful for allowing your healer enough time to heal you back up to full HP before you get another hit. So if you're tanking a trial boss, for example, this could be very good. As far as URs go, there's really not much that compares because most of the UR is focused on damage increase. So that's why it's really that's the best one, and then you would run 4 URs for doing DPS. Is it better for you to have a variety of cat buns or stack multipliers on those you know are great? It's a good question, but I don't really think that there's a clear answer. I think that you should prioritize. You don't have to unnecessarily save URs. If you have a lot of if you have a lot of these pink cheese cats, for example, it'll be more in your benefit to evaluate one to a high level than to stock up like 6 of them for future reasons. As long as you cover your current class change and the next class change, you're going to be in good shape. You don't need to stockpile more than that. You should use the additional ones that are not as good for evaluating purposes. Is Serene the best for red flavor for DPS? Let's take a look. No, Serene is not the best. Lively is the best. Lively is the best here because it's a better condition on the level 3. So the Lively increases damage taken by 5% and increases all damage dealt by 7%. This is not a very bad condition to have as a DPS because you're not usually tanking anything. If you look here, reduces damage dealt to non-boss enemies. If you're in certain boss fights, the boss will sometimes spawn non-boss enemies. So you're going to reduce your damage to them in exchange for dealing more damage to the boss. That actually might hurt you more than it might help you in some situations. So because of that, Lively is the better condition. What's the blessing of cat bun on flavors? We went through that earlier, but just to recap quickly, it is a stack of buff that you get from both the tail and shell slot. One at the start of combat and one 30 seconds into combat, and it gives various effects depending on the trait you have. What does the awesome cat 3 do? The reward from the ball beginning soon? That is a good question, because this is actually a cat plushie. Essentially what this is, when you collect 50 of these from the dailies, you will be able to use this for evaluating. So it replaces one cat bun in evaluating, basically. And you have a 25% chance to get one of the available URs. So hopefully, most people will be hoping to get a pink cheese cat if you're a DPS. But yeah, that's how that works. So I think that's a pretty good set of questions on the cat bun system. So hopefully you guys had a lot of your burning questions answered there on cat buns. So with cat buns out of the way, let's transition on to another topic. Rift, Dragon, and Trial are boss monsters, correct? Yes, they are. But before we go on to the next Q&A topic, as a thank you to all of you for being here, it is time. It is time for our first giveaway of the stream. It is time for the first giveaway of the stream. So, if you've not been in a live stream before, all you have to do is I will say a word, you have to type the word in chat, and then we will randomly pick a winner. And the word for this giveaway is going to be cat bun. The word for this giveaway is cat bun. So get your cat buns in the chat and we will pick a winner. Someone typed, yeah, there's some interesting typos, but it's okay. We're checking everything. Okay, and 3, 2, 1, and over. And the winner of this cat bun giveaway, it's not a cat bun giveaway, but the giveaway with the word cat bun, is going to be Lancelot008. Lancelot008, congratulations, you are the winner of this giveaway. You actually did it. Congratulations, Lancelot. Me when? Well, if you keep watching the streams, it could be any time. Congratulations, Lancelot. In order to claim your prize, you have to join the Discord if you're not already there, and reach out to Natto with a Y. Natto. She will organize your code for you after verifying you, so congrats. Is it legal to spam? Kind of, but not really. With moderation when it comes to these giveaway. Alright, check in chat. We're going to have another poll up for what the next topic you guys want to do a Q&A on. In the meantime, I'll continue on with my dailies while you decide what you want to take a look at next. And as a reminder to everyone who is here, if you're enjoying the stream, hit that subscribe button note and like the stream as well, and a reminder to join the Discord if you're not there. It's discord.gg/natto. And if you didn't win this giveaway, don't worry, there will be more later on in the stream, so do not despair. Yeah, I saw that sunflower. I generally think it's okay. As long as it doesn't get out of hand. Oh, I think my game completely lagged out here. Come on. You can do it. Give me a second here, I just gotta restart the game. Yeah, just to clarify with the giveaway, since people asked, the bot only picks one person regardless of how many messages they send. Like writing more than one cat bun doesn't actually increase your chances. That's kind of why I don't really care too much about it, because you're not helping yourself by spamming. It makes zero difference. You're just wasting effort, basically. If you put it once, it's the same as putting it 10 times, because it's not going to count as additional chances. That's why I just wanted to clarify, that's why I don't really care. Hey Residuous, yeah, I'm aware my mic is a little low. I'm trying to fix it, but for this stream, it's what we've got. Okay, so while this poll continues to cook here, I will, like I said, continue on with some dailies. Alright. Do my spins here. Am I still using Mumu Emulator? Yes, I'm still using Mumu Emulator. It's the best emulator for me. You forgot to ask us during the cat bun, but do I always go for 40% combined chance? I probably should only go for 40% combined chance, but it never works out that way. Because I get annoyed and do 20% as well. Sorry, I didn't realize I had the black screen still on. I haven't been doing anything that exciting. Don't worry. Thanks. Sorry, guys. I forgot to open the game again. I mean, show the screen again. Can you stack high-pressure magnets? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I'm maybe you can, but I don't see why you would need to. Oh, let's see. Let's see what kind of RNG we get on stream. Oh, nice. I got my third copy of the broom mount. So one more to go until I get that. I was starting to think I would have no chance of getting this mount, but maybe I have a chance. Chaos says, out of the 5 characters, the daily rune doubling seems to be fixed at 160. But I've noticed that even before the update. I don't know if it's a bug or intended, to be honest with you. I think that's just how it works, to be honest. It's per bubble, but I'm the same. I've never seen more than 160 in any time that it's doubled. It's only gone up to 160. Oh, the broom is pity? Okay. I didn't know the broom is pity, but still. So the poll has ended, and the number one topic is actually going to be artifacts. Why can't you see that magnet event in your server? It comes at a later time for you. Your server's too new to see it. It comes, I believe, at the start of class change 2 or at the end of class change 1. I don't remember exactly. Yeah. All right. So the artifacts. So let's take a look at artifacts. If you have any burning artifact questions, now is your time to ask. And let's go over the artifact system. I'm not sure what you mean, Reed. The new area yield drop artifacts. What do you mean? Riddle me this, why is my RNG so bad with artifacts? It is pretty hard RNG, to be honest with you, yeah. Is there any way to hoard energy? Unfortunately, no. And not exactly. So there is sort of a way, but I'll explain that. So you see these bubbles on the map. The maximum you can have stocked up is 3 bubbles, which is 300 energy. Because of that, it's not really feasible for you to save lots and lots of energy, and if you're over capped here, it stops generating bubbles. But you can in fact stock up these recharge crystals. So you can get these from your daily quests, from weekly quests. There's some available in the friendship shop, and you can get them as well from certain events and other things like this. So this is the only way which you can quote-unquote stockpile energy, is using these recharge crystals. Otherwise, not really. So you want to see what are the new artifacts. Sure. So the most up-to-date artifact region is Burning Tower. And it has 16 legendaries. Or rather here. Yeah, let's take a look. Because it has, 16 legendaries, 12 epics, and 14 rares. And there are some pretty interesting ones if we start looking. I think, unfortunately, the best ones are the ones I haven't unlocked yet. This seems pretty good for everyone, to be honest. This seems very good. Look at this. Restores 1% of your max HP every 5 seconds. And this is unleveled. So imagine when you actually resonate this and start this up. This could be really good for everyone's overall survivability. A heal every 5 seconds will make healers' life quite a bit easier. So that is a pretty cool artifact. Yeah, tanks will be like, I don't need a healer. And then this one is also interesting. Increases all damage and healing by a percentage after 60 seconds have passed in battle. Which is another pretty good one. Because again, this is only 1% at level 0. So once this levels up, that'll be even more. Then this is simply mastery. But we're getting more and more. The rest I think are pretty much normal, yeah. But we are getting more and more of these conditional type artifacts as opposed to just stats from the new regions, which is pretty cool. Is it better to use the 300 per day and hoard the... Yes, exactly correct, Zakila. You can't hoard energy, so you have to use your 300 energy per day and stockpile these recharge crystals, which again I can show you get here from dailies, certain dailies. Here, you get them in dailies and as well in weeklies. Should I upgrade all of them to 6, including the blue ones, before going to +9 on legendary? So there is actually a order of how to approach this. So the order with which you will approach resonating your artifacts is going to be: Step 1, everything to +4. Step 2, all of your economic effect to +6. Then the next step is everything to +6. And then after that, you'll take your economic effect to +9. And then you'll take everything else to +9. That's how you're going to approach it. Because your economic effect stuff is going to give you very important progression-based gains. And this is why we always prioritize them before DPS. Now, I haven't done that myself exactly, but don't use me as a benchmark for that. Which bond stats are best to prioritize? Henry, it depends on your class pretty much, but generally speaking, you're going to want to prioritize, like for example, you can see here if you're a healer, these ones give increased healing effect, which are pretty good. But DPS should be prioritizing these ones here, the ones that give a stat as a percentage, because these stats exceed your 50% numerical cap. So haste 2%, really good. Haste 2%, mastery 2%, mastery 2%. I don't have a lot of them unlocked because I went about things differently. But these haste 2%, mastery 2%, these are the ones that you should be prioritizing as a DPS, because those are not subject to diminishing returns. So they actually offer a lot of value for DPS. For the artifacts in the previous area, do we need to go back to the area for gacha if we missed it? No. You should always gacha in the most up-to-date region that you have, and never go back for anything. Now, whether or not that might change in the future, I don't know, but for now, it does not make sense to go back to chase a few dupes of one missing artifact. Anya asks, if we missed a unique artifact from Paper Plane, is it possible to get it from somewhere? Actually, Anya, the answer to your question is in the current Paper Plane week on server 1. So we're in Paper Plane week 9, and if you take a look at the tier 5 rewards, you'll actually see the answer to your question right here. Legendary Artifact Chest, and when you click on it, it gives you all of the past artifacts that came in the previous Paper Plane artifact weeks. So you can actually choose one of the ones you missed. So you can see here, here's the Dragon's Bounty one, here's the Double Treasure Hunting Energy one, here's the Waves of Horror one, and here's the Rune Characters one. So if you did happen to miss a week, you will, as the weeks carry on, have access to these chests to get the ones you missed. So you're not permanently screwed if you missed one of the artifact weeks as a free-to-play player. You will have a chance in the future to get it back. Because I feel like some people probably will sit there and restart their account or go to a new server or get really upset if they missed a Paper Plane artifact because they think to themselves, oh, I'm never going to get it, I'm forever ruined. But no, you will have a chance to get it again in future Paper Plane weeks. And Reindeer, I just answered your question. No, you should not be returning to previous areas for missed artifacts. You should always use your energy on the most up-to-date region. Artifacts is as long a grind as cat buns. Yes, but artifacts are also not RNG. Well, let me elaborate. Artifacts are RNG when you spend your energy, but the actual progression with regards to resonance and the dupes, you're not going to have a chance to get a good or a bad artifact. It's RNG what you pull from the energy, how many resonance stones you get, but you make the decisions on what you want to invest in. You don't just like wake up and say, oh, gee, I rolled a really bad ignorant vision, guess I gotta wait till I get a better one. It's up to you to determine how and where you want to invest your resources, which is very different from cat buns in the sense that if you get a great cat bun but really bad flavor, you're kind of in trouble. What about the damage percentage for bonds? Does the haste and mastery matter more? The reason why I would prioritize the mastery and haste more is because of the fact that it goes above the stat cap. So right now, for example, I'll show you exactly why I said that. So right now, if you look here on my mastery, I'm at 52%, but I'm capped. So the only way for me to get more mastery is going to be through percentage sources like the accessories or through these artifact bonds. So by having these percentages from the artifacts, you're actually able to respec and potentially get more of a different stat that you would benefit from as opposed to sticking to that 50% cap. Henry says, if haste and mastery matter more than damage and bonds, then I messed up big time. I'm in the same boat as you, so don't feel too bad. You will get there eventually. It's all good. It's just that the haste and mastery is probably the better choice to level up for now. What level does the new artifact area release? Is it already on the map? Let's see. I've not actually looked. Sorry, 1 second. Let's take a look. 49.2. So it's at 49.2 Nightless City. I'm not actually sure what level 49.2 will be, but I would guess that could be like pretty far. Certainly I think level 100 plus, if not much more than that. I'm not exactly sure the level, to be honest, but it's a long way away. That, yeah, exactly, Robert. So Robert says that takes even more effect on the current trials that reduce damage and healing over time. You're correct, yes. What's the best ways to get resonance stones? To be honest, energy is the only option, and then of course you're going to have these selection boxes, for example, from weeklies and certain events you're going to get resonance stones, but the resources for artifacts are mostly going to come from spending energy. Probably around Class Change 3, maybe, but it might be before that. Because Class Change 2 goes on for quite a while. Like, we have until... Let's just double check. Yeah, so Class Change 2 goes until level 140. So I think we'll probably get to 49 before level 140. So I don't think the new artifact zone will come in Class Change 3. Maybe a little bit before. Oh, thank you for the reminder. Yeah, for those who... Yeah, I misspoke. The daily dragon bounty is also a good source of resonance stones. Thanks for the reminder, Reed. Yeah. I always overlook that because it's so default for me to do the dragon now that I almost don't look at the rewards anymore. But yes, you do also get a good amount of resonance stones from your daily dragon bounty. So do not skip your dailies. The key to everything in this game is don't skip your dailies. Is requesting an artifact chest in your guild to get missing artifact fragments good? No. No, Nico, no. I would not suggest you do that over requesting Demon Hound fragments. No, definitely not. The Demon Hound fragments long term will benefit you a lot more than chasing the artifact fragments from your guild wish system. So I would not waste your wishes on that. Save your wishes for Demon Hounds, and in very rare cases some big whales might use their wish for mount fragments, but generally speaking, it's going to be Demon Hound copies. Paper Plane 14 is going to be the new artifact map. Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Chris. What increases attack more, artifact or mount? That's a good question. I'm actually not sure. Well, let's see. Well, you can see here I get more combat power from artifacts and mounts. I'm just not sure what the exact breakdown of attack versus other stats is. I would say probably the artifact gives more attack. If you had to choose, should I get dupes of Wind Catching Bag or the artifact that increases Waves of Horror attack which you don't have. Henry, it depends on what type of player you are. If you're a player who's constantly pushing leaderboards and trying to set new records, then you should get, as long as you have the additional artifacts. If you've already gotten the Firefly path and you have enough to get the chest as well, if you already have the other three, then yeah, I would get the Waves of Horror. But if you're a free-to-play player, you would almost never take the Dragon's Bounty and Waves of Horror artifacts. You would focus on the resource artifacts. But if you're a spender, then you could justifiably get that for additional damage and Waves of Horror. Otherwise, it's not worth it. What artifacts to plus 10? That's very long-term stuff, Primo, but again, once you get everything to plus 9, then you'd start chasing your economic effects to plus 10 as well. When is the best time to use resonant stones, in your opinion? I'm not sure exactly what you mean, Reindeer. Can you elaborate on that? Where do we get stones for the plus 10 artifacts? You've only seen it in events. You can get it by fusing. Like if you go here, you can combine the previous tier to get them. They're just very costly. 10 of these legendary resonant stones to get one of the maximum tier 1 here. So this is why I'm saying it's pretty endgame, because you're going to have to convert almost all of your resources to get these. For the new artifacts in the Tasha, Zone of Infinite Sin, Song of the Ship, and Frank's Case, which artifact should I start up as a healer? Let's take a look at those quickly. So it's the Frank's Case, Song of the Ship, and Stone of Infinite Sin. Right. So Stone of Infinite Sin right now is increasing your core skill damage and core skill healing effect. Frank's Case is your passive skill damage and passive skill healing effect. And Song of the Ship is your tactical skill damage and tactical skill healing effect. So let me ask you a question before I answer. Between your passive skills, your tactical skills, and your core skills, which one of those three contributes most to your overall healing output? I want you to answer the question yourself to see if you figure it out, because I think personally the Song of the Ship is the way to go here. For DPS, it's, yeah, exactly right. Yeah. That's correct, Caleb. Yeah, so it's Song of the Ship for healers because of the tactical skill healing effect. That is going to be the bulk of your healing. Now, arguably, you would probably prioritize after Song of the Ship your Frank's Case, because I do believe you have some passive healing as well. Henry says, I picked tactical for DPS. It very much depends on your class. So for me as a Nightweaver, Stone of Infinite Sin is by far the best, because it's all about core damage. But yeah, so for a healer, prioritize Song of the Ship, and if you happen to get extra, Frank's Case could be the next one to get after that. Artifact has damage percent for mobs and bosses and gets more edged mounts. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we always kind of overlook We overlook this additional benefit of artifacts, but we're focusing on the individual artifacts themselves. But when you click on the artifact bonus, I mean, look at this, for goodness sakes. 52% damage against common monsters. 52.1% against elite or above monsters. That's insane. It's an extra 50% damage from artifacts on top of everything it already gives. So artifacts are a huge contributor to overall damage output and performance as a healer and tanking, etc. But for DPS especially, this is huge. And yes, Reed says it's not really worth to start plus 10ing at the moment because it's low value increase relative to the resources. Well, that's the thing, Reed. That's why I called it endgame, because you would not start plus 10ing until you have everything else to plus 9. No problem, Caleb. So yeah, the Song of the Ship is the best, again, for healers. Aren't those the Tash's artifacts? Yes, they are, Okami. And yes, they are limited to people who spent on the event, unfortunately. So any last minute artifact questions here before we transition off to another topic? You already have a plus 10 wind catching bag. That's pretty next level. Does the artifact bonus come from artifact collection? Carter, the artifact bonus is this basic stats here. You can see every single artifact gives damage to monster and damage to boss. You can see here as you go through, they give different amounts. And that all adds up to give you this percentage here. You have plus 10 your desert compass. That's all good choices, honestly. More gold is a good thing. But yeah, you would prioritize your economic effect artifacts because they're just so good. So I think that's a pretty good run through the artifact system. What did I personally get for the extra artifact selection box? I picked... Let me double check what I picked. I think I picked the wind catching bag. Yeah, I picked wind catching bag for more doubled energy chances because to me the doubled energy chances is pretty big. If you can get more artifact energy, that's really good. So I got more wind catching bag. You've done sequel to Edda, The Bloody Crystals Hate You. Honestly, that's a pretty good call. Sequel to Edda is one of the most important artifacts, yeah. When obtaining crystals, there is a chance to obtain another one. This is massive. And I'm almost tempted to just plus 10 this now just because I'm getting such bad RNG right now. On another note, 3 million combat powers coming soon. Yeah, we're working on it. We are working on it. You plus 10 that one? Yeah, I mean, that is a good approach, to be honest. It is worth plus 10ing. Okay, let's quickly do this here. So I maxed my Husky out, which means I can start rolling stickers. Because I have pretty bad RNG here on this last one. Let's see if we can get a good sticker here. One more try. No. Okay. We'll keep trying that. And we got 2 star-ups here. Nice. Beautiful. Sal says, I'm a free-to-play player at Class Change 1. Where should I invest my Stellarite? I've got like 24,000. Probably you should be saving them for wishlist event primarily. Otherwise, using them for purchasing your dailies at a rate of 3333. So if you don't know, if you're not familiar, you have the max daily purchases that you spend Stellarite on. As a free-to-play player, it is safe to do 3 of each of these. So 3 for energy, 3 for rune characters, 3 for mount tickets, and 3 for cat fruitwoods. That's what you would be spending your Stellarite on, and saving the rest for wishlist events, pretty much, to get more Demon Hound copies. Let's do some cat buns quickly. Let's do some baking. Stop. Yeah, the surf sword is a really cool mount paint. I really like it. Yeah, Reed, the double chances for runes and cat fruit woods are very RNG, but all of it is RNG. Lancelot, you should send a DM to Natto in our Discord. For winning. Fiden says I've been at 60 out of 80 parts for sequel to Edda for so long. Oh, that's brutal. That's very brutal. It is a very important artifact, to be honest. Alright, let's see if we can get some good on-stream RNG here. Please give me a pink cheese. Not a good match. Oh boy. I'm gonna actually save combinations for 40%, so I'm not gonna use them right now. How should I do this? I'm gonna save these for now. Do you still change your Art of Incineration to short burst DPS on main story? Or pure right side? I should change it, Eugene, but because I do so much damage in main story anyway, it's not that big of a deal. So I just let it sit on full right side. But to be optimal, yes, I would change it. But it's the opening burst is so high anyway that they don't really live long enough to see the benefit of the double right, double left. Zeke says, you've just noticed my live. How long have I been playing for? Also keep up the content. We've been playing the game since it launched, and we also checked out the second closed beta test as well. Do one more 20% and you get it. Okay, VJ2K, I trust you. I'm going to do one more 20% because you told me to. Let's see. Alright, let's see if the chatter is on point here. Well, I got a UR, but it wasn't a pink cheese bun. But still, we'll take it. We will take it. You were half on point, you take it. Yeah, no, I'll give you that one. Let me just make sure. I think I can use this one. Yeah, I can use this one. Oh, come on, lag. There we go. Oh, it's completely bugged out. Okay, let me go out of the Kaplan system and back in. There we go. Beautiful. Is there a collection for mount skins? I'm not sure. I mean, no. I mean, there's not like a. There's no benefit. You don't get some. You don't get any stats for it, but you can see which ones you have and what you haven't unlocked yet. Here in the list, but I don't think there's any. There's no stats benefit from that. What are the best flavors for cat buns as a night weaver? You follow the recommendation here. Whatever it recommends is the best. So strong and chubby. You can see here chubby gives fire damage. Strong gives fire damage. And for face you'd use lively. That's the 3 best flavors. VJ says, I have 2 town trees, one for long fights and one for short fights. You're only a level 8 night weaver, so it takes some time. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Stream RNG boost is really real. Well, if it was super real area, we would have gotten a pink cheese cat, but we'll take it, honestly. Eugene says, how does evaluation work on cat buns? I kind of went into quite a bit detail earlier, but just to give you a brief summary of it, you can take your duplicate cat buns to increase the stats and effects of other UR cat buns. So you can see all the effects if you click on the evaluation preview here. It's only available for UR cat buns. And it's very important. VJ says, let's not forget the time I called 3 of the legendaries you got in KLR. That's right, VJ. I remember that. Dang. That was pretty special. That was a moment. I remember that now that you mention it. VJ, my RNG muse. You wish there was a mount roulette like in Final Fantasy XIV. That's a pretty interesting reference. Yeah, that could be interesting. Can I turn up my mic volume? Unfortunately, my mic is having some problems, hence the somewhat low volume, so I apologize, but if you turn the stream up, I'm not going to jump scare you. I promise. Pink cheese buns are the best for DPS? Yes, Miguel. Pink cheese buns are the best for DPS. Because of the kitty coin skill here. I went over it earlier, but basically increases your accuracy and damage and has a chance to double. Very, very good. You wish healers had more talent trees. Yeah, I agree. Healers and tanks both need a few more talents. Does evaluate work if it's not in the main slots? I mean, I'm not sure what you mean, Double, but you can evaluate any cat bun, but you're not going to get a benefit from any evaluated cat bun that you don't have equipped. It does not change the flavor if you do evaluation. No, it does not. But you can transfer the evaluate. So if you get a better flavor cat bun, if you equip the better flavor and then evaluate with the previous one you had, it'll transfer the evaluation to the new one. Is mastery necessary for DPS? This is a very good question because I actually noticed quite a few people weren't sure about mastery, but basically yes, because it is a final damage increase that increases DPS quite a lot. Malakota says, I was worried my evaluates are going to die. No, they're not going to die, Malakota. You can transfer them. Lancelot says, I wish the devs would make presets with Melomon and moves so healers and tanks can swap immediately. Yeah, that would be good. Oh, you meant... Sorry, I see what you mean. No, so double step, just to clarify, when you take a look at the evaluate, it's not just increasing the main skill, it's also increasing the cat bun stats. So yes, the cat skill increases will only take effect on the main skill, but you will still get the benefit of these cat bun stat increases, which adds up quite a lot. Evaluate transfer only works for the same type of cat bun, yes. Corteski asked, which defense stats are mandatory for tanks? Block, defense, endurance, evasion? Yes to all of those. You'd prioritize defense and block, followed by endurance, then evasion. VSOL, I'm not sure exactly what you're asking with the pink moves. Can you try to reword it a bit? Yes, Gail, that's correct. If you have a new cat bun with 2 purple and you got a better... If you got a cat bun with 2 purple evaluate, if you get a better one and evaluate it with the old one, yes, it'll transfer. Since I'm seeing a lot of questions on stats, let's do another Q&A here. We're going to do a Q&A on stats, because I did see quite a few stats related questions, and I'm going to start the Q&A actually with a very important question that I realize a lot of people actually don't know about. And that is about mastery, and a lot of people I think are a little confused about how mastery actually works. So let me explain it fully, so you know how good it is. So I'm sure you know in these types of games there is a damage formula. There is a formula that calculates how much damage you deal to an enemy, and it is taking into consideration the skill you used, the attack, any elemental damage boosts, any resistances, any of these advanced stats down here, and it factors all of that in, and at the end it pushes out a number. So there's the combat formula. And let's say you attack, and at the end of the combat formula it says you're going to deal 1,000 damage. That is the final damage amount, 1,000 damage. The mastery that you have is increasing that final amount, the post-calculation number. So if you were going to deal 1,000 damage and you have 50% mastery, you're going to deal 1,500 damage because it is a 50% increase of the final post-calculation number. Exactly, Reed. Mastery is what is called in many other games final damage. So it is a post-calculation percentage increase in the number. The final damage, or of course, final, this also applies for healers, so it can be the final healing amount as well. So yeah, mastery is a very, very important stat that contributes in a big way to your overall damage and healing output. Give me a quick second, my game has frozen again. I'll remember to remove the black screen this time. 1 second. Okay, we're back. So, yeah, that's how mastery works. Now let's take a look at some of these other questions here. As a free-to-play player, it's hard to increase crit damage, haste, determination, accuracy, and mastery. What should DPS have as a priority? So it very much depends on your class, Hendra, but generally speaking, even as a free-to-play player, you're going to follow the same priority. And crit damage, your main source is going to be your Melomon moves. Your attacking slot as a DPS is always going to be crit damage. That is the best possible main Melomon move slot to get your crit damage source. And as well, depending on your class, you might also be able to run the Voice of Bloodlust talent, which additionally increases your crit damage. So that's how you're going to get your crit damage sources. But essentially, your priority as a free-to-play player is the same as whales. You're just going to have less of the stats. But it would be crit and determination balanced. So for example, whether it's 40-40 or 45-45 or 50-50, whatever you can achieve, but try to keep it as balanced as possible. The reason here that you can see I'm not balanced is because I'm numerically capped on determination. Unfortunately. Otherwise, I would have a bit more determination to cap with crit. Then you'd also get your accuracy to the percentage you need. Then after that, some classes require a bit more haste. Others, you can invest a little more into mastery, but you would still follow the same priorities. And the best way to know what priorities to follow is to check out on my channel the class change guide relative to what you're playing, because I have a full stats breakdown in each of those videos. So Double Step asks, does that mean mastery is better than haste? Not exactly. At least you can't say it's better than haste. It depends on the class, but there will be some situations where increasing mastery will give you more DPS than increasing haste. But there will be cases where falling below a certain amount of haste will break your damage as well. So it very much depends on the class, but it's not so much to say that one is more important than the other, but that you need both, and how much of both you need depends on your class. Nico asks, what's more important for DPS, mastery or crit damage? See, the good thing about that question is both. Because you're never going to find yourself in a situation where you have to sacrifice your crit damage to get more mastery. Because you're going to get your crit damage from your 3 attacking slots. So you don't have to make that compromise. You don't have to reduce your mastery to get more crit damage unless you're talking about spending more move XP, for example, on your crit damage. But generally speaking, both are important. Crit damage is very important because you can get quite a lot of it, as you can see here. Corteski, you can use the same in tank slot. Because you don't benefit from the attacking slot, you might as well throw crit damage in there for when you go to your DPS spec. So Vey asks, does crit damage increase crit heals? No. So Vey Gaming, crit damage does not affect healing. And just to clarify, anything that has damage written in the description, crit damage, physical damage, divine damage, shadow damage, anything, all damage, anything that is written damage does not scale your healing in any way, which is kind of not that great, obviously, because if you can crit heal, then realistically you think to yourself, well, surely crit damage should increase my healing, right? But unfortunately, it does not. So as a healer, you do not need any crit damage. 0. Jason says, balanced. Crap, I switched my gear out and I'm lost 12% determination. Yeah, if you swapped accessories, for example, that's the #1 reason why you might lose a lot of determination or crit. And it's very important that you move around your moves in that situation to try to rebalance and get back to a good balance there. The end game of moves is that each Melomon has mastery equipped. So, Chachu, there's no end game best moves per se, but actually the best Melomon moves that you should equip are the ones that give you the stats you need to achieve your targets. So you're always going to be changing your moves relative to what you need. Yes, Double Step, I'm doing account reviews, yeah. Now you know why it's called moves, because you have to move them around. Yeah, exactly. Endgame moves are all accuracy? Well, not exactly, Reed. There are going to be other sources to get accuracy. John says, as a tank, do we have to invest on block rate too? Yes, absolutely. So as a tank, you do have to invest in block rate. Now, keep in mind, you do have a lot of sources of block that come from your skills. But even with those sources in consideration, you still want to have, ideally, at least 50% block. And I say at least, but really 50% is the magic number. If you can achieve 50% block, and also some of these additional endurance, evasion, and tenacity, and defense and HP, if you can maintain 50% block with high other defensive stats, you'll be very, very tanky. Very, very tanky, for sure. We're currently in a waiting room for the next power spike. Yeah, I think 6-piece of the Blackrock gear set will be a huge power spike. That's going to be the next big one. Do I prioritize haste, crit, and determination on gear and make up for accuracy on moves? Yes, Eugene, to a certain extent, but I still do have some accuracy. So it's impossible to get all the accuracy I want without sacrificing the moves I want. So I just have a balance. Like, I think I have 1, 2, let's see, 3. I actually have a fair amount of accuracy here. So I have 3 level 5 accuracies, but that allows me then to only run a single accuracy move in order to get the achieved accuracy. Class change 1 tank needs 55% for 100% block. Thanks for the clarification, Robert. So I think, yeah, class change 2 should be 50% block, and then class change 1 55% block, or maybe it's still 55%. How come I see whales in my server using stats like endurance and tenacity when they are DPS? Are they just using orange moves from the combat power, or they know something I don't? So the reason why whales, like you see, for example, I'm a DPS, but I have capped evasion, I have capped endurance, and I have capped tenacity, but I have not specifically chased those stats. It's because when you look at your moves here, each one of these balance moves gives both a offensive and defensive stat. So check this out. I'm getting 500 tenacity and endurance. Then here I'm having 500 endurance, 1400 endurance, 1900 endurance, another 950 tenacity. So that's where the defensive stats for DPS are coming from. They're not actively chasing it. We're just getting it as we power up our DPS moves. It's still all 55%. Okay, thanks, Robert. So yeah, 55% block for the person who asked earlier to achieve 100% block with your skills in question. Do moves have a max level? Since it's somewhat related to stats, I will explain this quickly. So moves have a max level per class change. Right now it's level 60 for class change 2. In class change 3 it's going to be level 80. In class change 4 it's going to be level 100. And then it goes up level 120 and continuing up from there. And you're going to continue to use imagined realities to get more and more. As a DPS, you want a lot of accuracy, yes. And for those who did not notice, if you're in one of the servers that are deep into class change 2, we've recently passed level 80, which got a significant drop to your accuracy. I was at 104% accuracy, and I dropped all the way down to 98%. Impact says, what is the recommended accuracy at level 81? Well, it depends if you have the the kitty coin skill or not. If you have your kitty coin skill, then probably, let's check. So I'm at 95%, which 2.5% added to that is 97.7%. So I need 2.3% more than what I have right now. So it looks like 101%. If you have 101% and you have kitty coin cat punch skill, then you'll be covered to have 100% accuracy on the dragon. Yeah, it was minus 6% accuracy for me when I leveled up past level 80, correct. Is it going to be even possible to max moves before the next class change for low spenders? Probably not, no. 101% would be, yeah, but don't forget to factor in your... Yeah, exactly right, 101%. And I'm missing some, but I don't really have any additional sources of accuracy right now without making major changes. So I'm just accepting the somewhat low accuracy and hoping for the best. The accuracy is most important for the dragon, yeah. If you go look at, for example, some of the trials bosses, they're not going to have such high requirements. See, this is already, I'm over 100% here. The previous one, well, actually, Bane of Lures had a higher requirement, but I'm still at 100% with Kitty Coin here. Over 100%, etc. So, it's really the dragon that has higher accuracy requirement. You've noticed the whale healers in your server are not using heal on their Melomon moves, and they're chasing other stats. So that's pretty unusual, Double Step. There may be some cases if they're chasing certain trial progression where they need to be tankier in order not to be killed by the trial's damage. So in that case, it would benefit them more to increase their own tankiness rather than to increase the healing effect from their defensive moves. So that's the only situation where I could realistically see healers chasing defensive moves and not healing effect. It could be something like that. Otherwise, healing effect is obviously better. Henry says, as a Nightweaver, when should I switch accessory from haste to mastery? Or never? So you should switch from haste to mastery if you have enough haste without the accessory set to get over 174% attack speed. So if I go here and I break this set, watch what happens. So when I break the set for myself, I drop to 168.5% attack speed, and I'm almost capped on haste. So no matter how much haste I gain, it's not going to be enough to get me back to 174%. So I can't run the different set, unfortunately. I have to stick to what I have equipped. It's the only way I can get over 174% attack speed. If the only way I can swap to the mastery set is if I continue getting these artifact bonds and get all of the haste percentage ones here. Once I get all of the haste percentage resonance here, then I can swap to the new mastery artifact. But that's basically the limitation. You have to make sure you can get enough attack speed. Zone says, as a healer, should I switch out my new accessories for mastery? My haste would drop to 40% of my mastery would go up. So, yes, that would be fine, Zone. It would be fine for you to make that change because it would give you more attack as well from the ring, which would increase your healing. And you should consider maybe shifting your moves around if you need to, but ultimately keep in mind, haste does not necessarily increase your healing power. It does reduce the cooldowns of certain skills and has benefits like, you know, reciting and channel speeds, etc. But the actual, compared to mastery actually increases your healing, your final healing. So I think that would be a good change for you. Yes, you can go ahead and do that. Henry says 174, my attack speed is 160. So I said 174 because that's the highest threshold you need to reach to get to 12 Blazing Shadow stacks, Henry. But if you're around 160 with the accessories, then if you can stay at 154% or higher attack speed with the Mastery accessory set, then you can swap. It's a different threshold. If you're around 160, then you can swap to Mastery if you can maintain 154%. Otherwise, stick to haste. No problem, Henry. That's a pretty watered down explanation of the relationship between attack speed and the Nightweaver class. So I would recommend, Henry, if you go watch my Nightweaver video, near the end of the video in the stats explanation, I actually have the chart that shows the relationship between Blazing Shadow stacks, tactical skill cooldown, and attack speed. So that's where you're going to base your target attack speed percentage at, based on that chart. But 154 is the safe number for 11 stacks. Triple C asks, is it possible to get all the paper plane artifacts as free-to-play? Not all of them, but you could get one reward per paper plane that's focused on artifacts, yes. Krem says, the most annoying part of being a healer is heals crit, but crit damage doesn't work on heal crits. Yeah, I agree, Krem, and personally I think that that's a shame. I actually think it could be nice if healers benefited from crit damage to the same extent that DPS did, because right now crit damage is essentially a wasted stat for healers. Now, on the flip side, it does mean that you can use your 3 attacking slots to stack some of your other stats that you might be missing, whereas DPS are always going to put crit damage there. I'm not sure, Double Step, about that Radiant Focus thing. I'm going to have to check that out off stream. But offhand, I'm not sure. Yes, Zoisky, heals can crit, but you don't get additional healing from crit damage. Crit damage does not affect the power of your crit heals, but you can crit heal. What does the new accessory stats give? So there's actually 2 new accessories. So the one I'm using right now gives haste. The next one above that gives mastery. And then the most recent one, which is just released, gives determination. So I'm really not going to be wearing this one personally because I need haste or mastery. I don't need more determination right now. So I'll only be using this for stats. And I might potentially swap to my mastery set here once I get a bit more haste. But I will absolutely not be getting this determination set here because of stat caps. It doesn't help me in any way. Okay, take care, Henry. We need presets on Melomon moves for sets. Yes, I agree. We need... What would be ideal is to have an account-wide preset that just sets everything. Everything with one button. Talents, Melomon moves, special skills, everything with one button. That would be the best dream state. We need a leaderboard for healing per second and damage mitigated on Dragon. That could be fun, honestly, Zone. That could be fun. Reed says crit, haste, mastery, determination sets recycle on new accessories. Yes, for now. Whether or not we'll see changes in the future, it's possible. Like, for example, I'm not sure if in the future we're going to have a 3-set accessory bonus. Right now it's only a 2-set. Maybe future accessory sets will start having a 3-set bonus, for all we know. In that case, you'd benefit really from running it. So we'll see how that evolves. If I have a better accessory, will it inherit the better main stat? Can you reword what you're asking, Jason? I'm not 100% sure. Hey, GB, how are you? What is the max amount of crit and determination you can have? So there is a cap on the numerical conversion to percentage. So the maximum percentage you can have from actual points, like numerical value of determination or crit, is 50%. But because percentage-based sources stack on top of that, the limit is going to be whatever additional percentage-based sources you can get. So right now, I have 50% determination capped, which means I have 5% determination from other percentage-based sources. Now, if I had an accessory that gave me 12% determination, I'd have 67%. And if there was some other source, I could have even higher than that. So probably right now, arguably, it would be around 67 to maybe 70% is the absolute maximum you could get with all the correct percentages stacked on top of each other. But there's almost never a situation you would chase one stat to such a high level. Yes, Double Step, I've tested it. It's no comparison. Pink Cheese Cat versus... So the Kitty Coin SP versus the flat attack increase? No comparison. Do I use 222? I am. And you should be looking out soon for an explanation on why that is. Coming soon to theaters near you. Scoot says, I'd like to see stats able to be locked on gear. And you can re-roll... Oh, I see what you're saying. So like in some games where you can lock one of the stats and just re-roll the other two at an increased recasting cost. I think that would be a genius idea. That would make it a lot better. I like that idea a lot. Caleb says, as a healer, if my haste is above 50% and my accuracy is above 100%, will the best move slots for me be mastery or attack? I think the answer to that is both. I mean, both will benefit your healing. If you have enough slots, you could put one mastery and one attack on each of your open slots. Benedict, what's the optimal daily purchase? It'll be 3333. Oh, for a mid-spender, excuse me. If you're a mid-spender, it's whatever your threshold is. Some will say 4444, 5555. There's not really a right or wrong answer. 5664 is good as well. Whatever you can accomplish long term, yeah. So double step, the thing you have to remember about Kitty Coin, it's not just about the main skill itself. It's about the fact that it gives you also 2.5% accuracy, which allows you to rework your gear slightly to basically put that 2.5% into other offensive stats. So it's not just about the actual skill itself and the damage increase. It's also the fact that it allows you to respec a little bit of accuracy into different parts of your build, which results in a net damage increase on top of the skill itself. Uro says, you're a Darkblade level 60 with 40% crit and determination, 40% crit, 42% determination, 11% haste, 14% mastery, 100% accuracy. What should you prioritize? So Uros, because you're a Darkblade, you're one of the only classes where you can actually benefit from stacking more determination than crit. Because of the fact that all of your damage as a Darkblade comes from lucky crits on your Crimson Ring, and you have a 100% chance to crit the Crimson Ring, which means if you get like 50% determination, you would have even higher chance to get lucky crits. After that, I would prioritize mastery. A little bit of haste as well, because you're going to need more haste so that you can get more stacks of the debuff, whatever it's called. Decay, yeah. You need to have, ideally, to be able to get 33% decay stacks between each Crimson Ring cast. And in order to accomplish that, you're going to need more haste. So you're going to need more haste and more mastery and some more determination. That's going to be your goals to get more DPS out. So you could potentially drop your crit rate by maybe 5% and increase your determination, haste, and mastery. And that should increase your DPS. Benedict asks, on Kitty Coin, if we hit the 50% double success, does it stay that way until the end of battle, or is it every 10 seconds it goes through a 50% chance? It's correct, Benedict. Every 10 seconds, it's a new 50% chance. And the only way you'll get 100% doubled is if you get your Kitty Coin up to... Once you get it to 4 purple stars, 4 purple evaluates, sorry, that's when you're going to have 100% chance to double every single time. So that's really the dream target for anyone who has the Kitty Coin SP Cat Bun. Once you get to 4 purple stars, it's 100% chance to double. That's the real deal right there. Ichigo asks, should I get the treasure artifact or the cat bun artifact if I don't have either of them? Personally, Ichigo, if you don't have either of those, I would prioritize the treasure cat bun over the... Sorry, I would prioritize the treasure artifact over the cat bun artifact. So if you're sitting here and you say, I don't have wind catching bag, should I get Firefly Path or wind catching bag? Your priority should be wind catching bag between those two options. But only if you don't have any copies of it. If you're completely missing it, prioritize wind catching bag over Firefly Path. Otherwise, if you have all of these, then get Firefly Path. It's that simple. Hey Thus, how are you? Just joined the game on S45. Welcome to the game. Throw here says, I'm currently sitting at 3,000 artifact energy and Paper Plane 2 is next week. Should I have dumped my energy into treasure hunt? I'm worried I don't have enough points for Paper Plane events. So Throw here, one warning I will give you is, generally speaking, you should not save your artifact energy like that. Because when your artifact energy is overcapped, it no longer generates the bubbles on the map. So you're essentially losing 300 energy every day when you're overcapped. And possibly even more than that, up to 400 energy a day if you get the double effect. So I would say, since you're already in, you can save it for Paper Plane. Otherwise, I would say in the future, don't let your artifact energy pile up like that. I assume you got to 3,000 by buying dailies or purchasing the Paper Plane packs. But yeah, try not to overcap and let it sit because you're losing your 300 daily energy. So if you let it sit for a week, you've lost 2,100 energy basically. Rizzy asks, are we going to be Class Change 3 tomorrow? No, Class Change 3 is like, how long away? Class Change 3 is quite a ways away. It's not even here. I think it's like... It's level 140 for Class Change 3, so yeah, a long way away. Hey Epass, you want to see a Wayfarer build for solo and group? You should check out on my channel. I have a video for Wayfarer, for Ranger, and for Eagle Eye. Everything you need is in those videos. I would recommend checking those out as opposed to me dropping something off now. Thanks, Andrew. I appreciate the kind words. Yeah, I hope the game lasts for a long time too. It's a really fun game. As my server is about to get Generation 2 mounts, should I save my Gen 2 mount pulls for Paper Plane 9? I'm currently at Paper Plane 6. If you're a free-to-play player, then you could realistically save your Gen 2 mount pulls for Paper Plane 9, yes. You could do that. Mounts are one of those things you can save for good Paper Plane weeks as a free-to-play player, for sure. Yeah, exactly. If you're free to play, save resources for paper planes that give artifacts. Zone says more and more people will join to play as time goes on. We'll all eventually be the OG players if we don't quit. You're correct, yeah. The longer we play, the higher our OG player status increases. And everyone knows that being an OG player is an automatic DPS increase. So maintain that status. Andrew says I should not pull for Melomons until a good paper plane event is out. You should not pull for Melomons until a wish list is out. So Melomons are one of the only resources that you will not save for a specific paper plane week, but instead you'll be saving your Melomon resources for the wishlist event, which allows you to have a 50% increased chance to get your choice of Melomon, legendary Melomon, up to 3 times. That is what you're saving your Melomon resources for as a free-to-play player. All other resources you are free to save for paper plane weeks, except for artifact energy, since you can't stockpile it up. I have no idea what the next costume is, Caleb. Sorry. Alexandra, no, there's been 2 wish lists so far. There was a wish list when the servers opened at the beginning of the game. And there was another wish list the last couple weeks with the Chinese New Year events. So there's been 2 wish list events until now. Zone says wish list every 6 weeks. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's approximately every 6 to 8 weeks. But the actual schedule is at the discretion of the developers. It's roughly every 6 to 8 weeks. Wavy asks, what emulator do I run the game on PC on? I'm using Mumu. I'm using Mumu emulator. Perk, do we have info on the next events? Sort of. We have a loose understanding of kind of what's to come, but it's also a surprise. Arkham says, do I agree that Scholar is a bad DPS right now? I disagree. I disagree because what is the thing with the current Scholar, the Archmage or whatever it is, the second class change, it's not a bad DPS. It is a specialized DPS, and there's a big difference because what it specializes in, it's the best at. So there is a build for the, I believe it's Archmage, right? The most up to date. Hold on, let me make sure I got it right. Yeah, so there is a build for the Archmage that's called, what is it called, like the one hit build or something. Archmages have the highest burst damage in the game, and you will see this if you go into a trial fight that has one of those shields where you have to make the boss's shield go away by dealing enough damage in a certain time frame to interrupt an ability. The one blow build, the one trick pony, yeah. You'll see when you have normal DPS that the shield goes down slowly and takes 3 or 4 seconds. And when you have an Archmage in the party, the shield shows up and half a second later it vaporizes. It's just gone. So yeah, Archmages have insane burst damage, but in exchange for having insane burst damage, they have very low sustained damage. So in Dragon, etc., it's not as good. But I don't consider them a bad DPS. I just consider them a specialized DPS. Do we have a timeline for the release of Generation 2 Melomons? Is it week 24? Yes, Chachu. Or is it week 23? It's either 23 or 24. We're just over 4.5 months away from Generation 2 Melomon. Hey Eugene, so you're a light spender but you're lacking on Melomon. Should I pull draws on Paper Plane 5? Eugene, it's up to you what you classify as a light spender. If your intention is to spend some Melomon draws on Paper Plane Week 5, but then you will purchase additional draws to not miss out on the next wishlist event, then there's no reason why you can't do that. As long as you're not going to miss out on the wishlist event, then you can do that if you're a light spender. As long as you intend on purchasing the required summoning strings to take advantage of the next wishlist event when it comes, then there's no reason not to do that. How many strings should you aim when there's a wishlist event? It's totally based on your RNG, Eugene. I mean, if you're insane, I mean, there's no quantification for that. You maybe, yeah, 150 to 300 maybe, but maybe you'll get 2 in one pull. Yeah, I don't know. It depends on how good or bad your RNG is. 30 strings, Giga Chad mode. Yeah, I'm gonna get all my Demon Hounds back to back. Thank you very much. Like, realistically, Pity is gonna be every 5th, so 3 strings for the gods. Yeah, exactly. What do you guys think of the new event, the ball beginning soon? I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I've always said from the beginning, I really appreciate the devs coming up with new and interesting events from us. Instead of the usual fishing, we now have the ball beginning soon. I think it's pretty fun. It's kind of sad. Yeah, people don't know how to follow their own numbers. People steal my numbers. Yeah, everyone steals the numbers. Yeah. That's why what I always do is I track 2 numbers. When I do it, I track 2 numbers. That way you always have a backup if someone screws you over. It's the easiest event ever. Just follow your number and it's free items. Yeah, pretty much. What power is recommended for Bane of Lures? I don't know exact power numbers, Carl. The best way to judge how far you are from clearing something is just to try it. Like, let me give you a piece of advice, and this applies to everyone who's listening. And it's a common mistake. You should not view content in this game as, what power do I need to attempt it? What power do I need before I start doing X content? Do not approach it that way. Start doing the content as soon as you unlock it, and use that as a gauge for how far away you are from clearing it. There's no number I can throw at you that's going to explain to you when you can beat something. This is a game that's based on trial and error. Rework your build a bit, try again the next day, get a few more dailies, try again the next day, weekly reset, try again, etc. New event, paper plane, try again. It's an iterative process. And if you sit there and say, well, I'm going to not do it until I have X combat power, you might have been able to already clear it. If you had tried it, you could have figured that out. So I don't think it's good to look at a specific requirement to clear a certain content. Exactly. The content is, not going to go away unless it's a time-limited event like slime or something. So in my opinion, pay less attention to what you think the combat requirement should be and just try it and keep trying it and keep trying it. I think that's a much better approach. Sinhappy says, should I use my Mythic Advance? Oh, you mean the imagined realities? Thanks, by the way. So what I've done and what I recommend most people should do for DPS is, well, I don't know how much this applies to whales more than free-to-play players, so maybe take this with a grain of salt. But one option you have as a DPS is to get your 3 crit damages to Mythic, and then to use Imagined Realities to get them to level 60 times 3, and then after that start saving your Imagined Realities again to level up the rest of the skills. But that might not be ideal advice for free-to-play players. At least, I don't know. You might have to fact check that with someone who knows a bit more. But for me, as a whale, that's the approach I took. And as free-to-play player, it might be also good to do that same approach. Because, realistically speaking, you're not going to mythic every single move. Double Step says, can I explain the Gen 2 Melomon selection box? Yeah, the thresholds are there. Yeah, it's exactly the pieces. So each five fragments counts as one dupe, even if you get them from guild source, for example. So 29 copies would be 29 times 5, basically. 15, 21, 29. Malakota says, saving the pinks is the best method for free to play. Okay, got it. Double Step says, right, you have 14 dupes. No, I don't think it works exactly like that. I think that there's thresholds. I think that the reason the thresholds exist is because that's when you get an addition. Hold on, let me look it up. This is something I don't know how to explain because I have no experience with it. I never played on the Chinese server, right? So I'm just basing it off of how other people have explained it. Yeah, I'm not sure how to explain it, but it's basically thresholds where you can get an additional Gen 2 chest, basically. I don't know enough to explain it more than that. Someone else did the math. A pro player in China did the math on the 15, 21, 29, and we're relying on that math as being correct and acknowledging it'll give us more resources by doing so. That's as sure as I can explain it. Yeah, you would need 15, 21, or 29 dupes. Those are the 3 thresholds. But remember, Gen 2 Melomon are 4.5 months away. So you have time. Am I on the right path to think that if I want a whale, I should aim on skills in Melomon? So Eugene, if you want a whale, there's actually a different priority I would set. Yes, skills in Melomon are a big contributing factor to your damage, but if you can instead whale and make sure you never miss any limited hot deal packs to always get your additional paper plane packs to get your second tier 5 reward, there's efficient ways you can whale that aren't just blasting Stellarite on pulls. So for me, if you said I'm a whale and you use that whale power to never miss limited packs, it would do you better than just blasting Stellarite on summons. Unless you do both. If you're going to blast Stellarite on summons and buy all the packs, then you're in good shape. But otherwise, I think maintaining the ability to buy all those packs as a whale is more important than spamming Stellarite on pulls. Is it true that you should move to prioritize maxing your skill instead of Melomon pulls at important paper planes like this week 9? You should use whatever resources you have saved up as a free-to-play player, to be honest. During a good paper plane week like paper plane week 9. Like if you're gonna spend money, it's up to you whether you spend it on skills and Melomon, to be honest. Whatever's more important at your stage of progression, unless I misunderstood your question. Oh, that's brutal double step. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Melomon is the hardest system for free-to-play players. Yes, that is correct. It is the hardest because you're going to be saving your resources for such a long time. So you're going to see your gains being quite intermittent, like with each wishlist event, basically. Alright guys, that's the 2-hour mark on the stream. It's been a long stream. I think we did some good Q&A today. I hope you had a lot of your questions answered. Before we wrap the stream up, we're going to do one final giveaway. We are going to do one final giveaway here as a thank you for all of you being here. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and as of the previous giveaways, we're going to choose a word. I'm going to pick a word, and you're going to write it in the chat, and we'll randomly select a winner. And just a reminder that the bot doesn't care if you say the word once or 10 times. It's not going to affect your chances to win. If you type it once, you're entered. That's all that matters. And the word for this giveaway is going to be Melomon. The word for this final giveaway is Melomon. And it does have one L for those who are typing it with two. Melomon. So go. Get your Melomon spam in. And just a reminder, you don't have to type it more than once for you to be considered. And 3, 2, 1, and over. Wow. Well, this is interesting. This very rarely happens because most of the time the winner goes not where the most active chatters are. So the winner for this giveaway is actually going to be Double Step. Believe it or not, Double Step. Totally not rigged. Totally not rigged, but you have in fact won the giveaway. That's so funny. That's actually hilarious. One of the more active chatters actually won the giveaway for a change. So Double Step, you won the giveaway. Congrats. I think he went AFK. He assumed he didn't win. Double Step's reaction is yeah. Wait, you won? Like, bro, did you go AFK as soon as you? Yes, you won, Double Step. That's what I was saying. I was making a joke about it's not being rigged. Wait, I won. What a reaction. Yeah, let's skip. Skip. We're gonna skip. We're gonna choose a different winner, obviously. What do you mean? So you won basically you won a code. You won a code to. I mean, I can't even speak right now. It's an in-game code for 2,500 Stellarite, basically, provided by the developers. So congratulations to you. Yeah, Natasha will help you. He's still in shock, yeah. So anyway, Double Step, to claim your reward, you have to join the Discord and... Brain's not working out. Join the Discord and reach out to Natto on the Discord, and she will verify you and get you your code. Yeah, exactly. Natto with a Y. Yeah, your stream is way behind. You're like 20 seconds behind, but that's fine. No, you don't lose your free-to-play by redeeming a code from a giveaway. That's not how it works. You're still safe. I know some people protect the badge, the free-to-play badge, quite closely. Oh, you're welcome, Zone. Glad to hear it. If you're on the Discord, then yeah, reach out to Natto and she'll sort you out. Alright guys, so that's the end of the stream. Didn't expect to stream for over 2 hours today, but here we are. I think we had quite a lot of good questions today, so hopefully you feel a little more knowledgeable. More information acquired is always a good thing. So everyone, take care, have a good one. May you have good RNG in game. Scared to refresh stream, you'll be fine. So, take care, and I will see you in the next one. Whether it'll be in 5 days, 3 days, 4 days, a week, we'll see. But, enjoy. Bye now.